I used to believe I understood love. I thought love meant the sparkle in someone's eyes when they looked at you. I thought love meant being chosen, being protected, being the one. Yet I discovered a strange truth. Sometimes love hides behind silence. Sometimes love helps you without saying a word. Sometimes love waits for you to grow up, so you can understand it. My name is Bella. I was born into a world of marble floors, gold-trimmed curtains, and perfumes that stayed in the halls even after you left the room. People used to say I lived in a dream, a perfect life. They never saw the fear inside me, the fear of losing everything, the fear of becoming ordinary. I married a man who had nothing, Levi. He had warm hands and a soft smile. His hair always messy, like he had been thinking too hard. His shoes weren't designer. His watch wasn't shiny. His dreams were big enough to fill the sky, yet his pockets were always empty. I remember the night we got married. We stood in a small garden behind a cheap restaurant. Fairy lights flickered above us like shy stars. No orchestra, no crystal chandeliers. Still, my heart felt full. People whispered that I had lost my mind, that a billionaire's daughter shouldn't marry a poor boy with nothing but ideas. My father, Mr. Aaron, didn't fight me. He just watched quietly, his eyes unreadable. He had always been like a mountain strong, silent, impossible to understand. I thought I was choosing love over money. I thought this made me brave, yet I didn't realize something important. When you grow up in luxury, money becomes like air. You don't notice it until it's gone. As months passed, I began to feel the weight of every bill. The fear behind Levi's calm smile, the tiny apartment walls closing around my pride. Even my breath felt poorer. I blamed him for my discomfort, for the life that suddenly seemed so small, for not becoming successful fast enough. I had no idea. While I doubted him, while I questioned our love, my husband was building something bigger than both of us, something that would soon place his name in the stars, something that would change our lives forever. I just didn't know the real secret. My father was the reason Levi's dream didn't die. He funded the startup. He believed in my husband when I didn't. He trusted him more than he trusted me. The truth didn't come from a quiet talk or a confession. The truth came from a glowing magazine cover, Forbes, a photo of Levi, a headline that shook my entire world, a secret that shattered my pride into dust. I married a poor man. Then I found out he never truly needed my money. He only needed my heart. People say, love is all you need. Love will feed you. Love will protect you. Love will keep you warm. Those people have never stood in a long grocery line counting coins silently inside their fist. I grew up in a house where worries were invisible. Breakfast arrived before I sat down. Problems disappeared before I even noticed them. If I wanted something, someone always delivered it before the desire even settled in my heart. My father, Mr. Aaron, didn't just provide comfort. He designed a life without struggle for me. He built walls made of wealth, hoping they would shelter me. He never predicted they would weaken me too. I met Levi when I was at university. I remember leaning on a metal railing, watching the rain hit the campus ground in a gentle rhythm. Students rushed around with umbrellas like little moving clouds. I stood still, pretending the rain didn't exist. He appeared next to me with a bright yellow umbrella. The color looked like sunshine trapped inside cloth. He offered it without a word. Levi didn't flirt. He didn't try too hard. He simply existed in a way that made me feel safe, as if the storm couldn't reach me as long as he was there. We were opposite worlds. I had a closet full of designer shoes. He owned one pair that squeaked when he walked on polished floors. I carried credit cards. He carried notebooks filled with sketches and business ideas. Dreams scribbled in black ink. Dreams that looked like flying machines with no engines. Yet I kept choosing him. Every day, quietly, a little more. Ariana, my best friend, didn't understand. She shook her head each time she saw him pick me up in his old car that coughed before moving. "You're a billionaire's daughter," she would whisper like it was a secret even I forgot. "You deserve someone who can give you the world." I always smiled and told her the truth. Levi is my world. Angel, however, took a different approach. She never whispered. She spoke loudly like she wanted the universe to hear her judgment. "Bella, look at him." Her eyes always scanned him like a cheap item in an expensive store. "He's not your level. He will only drag you down." I used to laugh. Angel's words felt like background noise in the early days. Annoying, but harmless. I didn't know those seeds she planted would grow into doubts later. Dark doubts that wrapped around my heart like vines. Levi proposed under a streetlight. No diamonds. Just trembling fingers and a promise that glowed brighter than any gemstone. "I can't buy you a castle," he said. "I only have dreams. If you marry me, I will spend my life turning them into our reality." I didn't think twice. Yes fell from my lips like a soft leaf falling from a tree. No hesitation, no fear. The wedding was small. Flowers picked from a local garden. Music coming from a speaker that crackled every few seconds. Yet every candle felt warmer, simply because he was holding my hands. My father attended quietly. He offered no speech, no tears, no threats, only a handshake to Levi that lasted a little too long, filled with meaning I couldn't read at that time. Married life began like the first pages of a fairy tale. Cooking together in a tiny kitchen, laughing at burnt pancakes, running through rain because we forgot to pay for a taxi ride, kissing in moonlight as if the world had paused for us. Things changed slowly, like a dimming light, barely noticeable, until one day the darkness felt complete. Bills piled up like little monsters on the table. Levi spent more hours working on a startup idea that sounded too big for our small living room, a tech company built on helping small local businesses grow online. He called it Bridgetta Bridge to Hope, he explained. He worked nonstop, late nights, early mornings. His smiles began fading into tired lines beneath his eyes. I found myself sitting alone more often, scrolling through photos of my old life, fancy dresses, luxury vacations, me sparkling like a diamond under a spotlight. Ariana invited me to parties where people arrived in fancy cars and expensive perfumes. She always saved a seat for me beside her. She believed I belonged in that world, not in a cramped apartment with secondhand furniture. Angel joined the conversations too. She wasn't subtle anymore. "You married a liability," she said while sipping wine that cost more than our monthly groceries. "One day, you'll regret this choice." I didn't defend him. I didn't defend us. Silence became my answer, a silence that hurt more than words ever could. Levi noticed. He saw me slipping away, piece by piece. He tried to hold on. "Bella," he whispered one night, hand touching mine lightly. "I'm working hard for us. Give me time, please. Trust me." Trust, a simple word that felt heavy on my tongue. I nodded, but doubt had already sat in the empty spaces between us. My father visited rarely. When he came, he would walk through our apartment without judgment in his expression. He would sit quietly and ask Levi questions about the startup with genuine interest. Levi always grew more confident when talking to him. I didn't understand their connection, their calm smiles at each other, their trust. I only felt jealous that Levi shared hope with my father instead of me. One evening, after my father left, I asked Levi about their conversation. He simply said he believes in Bridget. Then he hugged me gently and whispered, "And for now, that is enough." The truth was, I wanted more. I wanted fast success. I wanted the life I had lost. I wanted him to make me proud. I didn't see the beauty in slow growth. I didn't see the love happening quietly around me. I only saw what was missing. I didn't know that while I was craving comfort, God was preparing a miracle wrapped in patience, a miracle built with trust I didn't give, but Levi found elsewhere. Everything was about to change. The world was about to say his name, only I wasn't ready to be proud. I was too busy missing the girl who once thought love was enough. Life has a habit of testing love at the quietest hours. While the world sleeps, doubts wake up. Levi was pouring everything into Bridget, every heartbeat, every second, every fragile hope he owned. Some nights, he returned home after the streetlights had already given up and gone dark. His fingers smelled like coffee and cheap ink. He tried to smile, but exhaustion always won. I waited for him at the dining table more times than I want to admit. Food turned cold, candles melted halfway. My patience grew thinner, like paper stretching toward a flame. "Levi," I asked one night, "how long do we have to live like this?" His eyes softened. "I don't know," he whispered, "but I promise you, we're not far from the light." Promises sound beautiful. Reality echoes louder. Ariana's voice crept into my mind like a clever thief. "Your father built empires," she reminded me. "What did Levi ever build?" Angel sharpened the dagger with every visit to our home. He can't even afford a new sofa, she said, running her fingers over the worn-out fabric. You traded diamonds for dust, Bella. Levi heard her once. He didn't argue. He simply walked to the bedroom and closed the door. Later, I found him sitting on the floor, staring at his notes. Jaw clenched tight like he was trying to hold himself together. I didn't comfort him. My silence sliced deeper than Angel's words. Days passed like slow-moving clouds. Money became a shadow hovering over every decision. One evening, I visited my father. His house looked the same: grand gates, glass walls, chandeliers scattering golden light everywhere. I stood in his study, feeling small in a place that once felt like home. Are you happy, Bella? His question floated gently, like a leaf falling. I didn't know what to say. My throat tightened. He smiled in a quiet way, the kind that hides pain. Love isn't always soft, he murmured. It sometimes hurts us into growing. I wanted to tell him I missed the comfort he gave me. I wanted to ask for help. I didn't. Pride has a strange grip. It makes you drown while pretending to float. When I returned home that night, Levi was pacing the room, eyes alert, excitement buzzing around him like electricity. Bella, he almost shouted, I have a meeting tomorrow. A big investor wants Bridget. Relief washed through me. Finally, a way out of this struggle. I cupped his face in my hands. I'm proud of you, I whispered. His smile returned, bright enough to light the entire room. The next day, I waited by the window. Every passing car felt like hope on wheels. Hours dripped by. The sun changed positions. Then the door opened. Levi walked in. No joy. Just a quiet storm in his eyes. What happened? I rushed toward him. They said the product is too new. Too risky, he whispered. They called me a dreamer. A man who thinks ideas are enough. I hugged him. He didn't hug me back. Later, he sat alone at the desk, staring at his laptop screen. A single tear slid down his cheek, caught in the glow of the monitor. He wiped it quickly, pretending it didn't exist. That night was silent. Too silent, the distance between us stretched like a long, cold road. In the morning, I called Ariana. Come out, she said instantly. You need a break from that life. I didn't argue. We went shopping, laughing, sipping expensive drinks. Angel joined us too, wearing a smile that never reached her eyes. You still believe in his childish dream? She asked casually. You married down, Bella. You deserve better. This time, I didn't defend Levi at all. Her words sank slowly, then settled inside my heart like stones. I returned home late, heels clicking loudly on the hallway floor. The apartment felt too quiet again. Levi looked up from the couch. You're late, he whispered. I needed air, I replied flatly. His eyes studied mine with gentle fear. Bella, don't lose faith in me, he said. My chest tightened. I'm trying, I whispered back. These days, it's just hard. He nodded, but hope dimmed inside him like a candle fighting the wind. Weeks passed, rejections continued. Money vanished, like sand slipping through fingers. Angel's poison grew roots. If he fails, you fail, she reminded me. You need someone who can carry you upward. She wasn't just talking, she was offering herself to that role. I didn't see the trap forming around my heart. I only felt the hunger for my old life. One afternoon, Levi asked if I would join him for a walk. We strolled past shops filled with things I used to buy without thinking. My steps felt heavy. He stopped near a small cafe. Bella, he said, voice trembling a little, I want to give you everything you deserve. Every gift, every comfort, every joy. I'm building it all. I just need more time. Time. The one thing I no longer wanted to give. I looked away. Love alone doesn't pay bills. Levi. His face fell like a flower, losing its petals. He swallowed hard. I know, he said softly. That's why I'm fighting. Walking back home felt like walking away from the girl I used to be. The girl who believed love was enough. She was gone now. My birthday arrived. Ariana threw me a party at an expensive restaurant. Lights sparkled. Music played softly. Angel leaned toward me with a smirk. Where's your husband? Working late again? Or is he ashamed to walk into a place he can't afford? I pretended her words didn't crack me open inside. Levi arrived late. Wearing the same old suit? He carried a small gift bag. He looked out of place. He He felt out of place. People noticed. Angel smirked at him with eyes sharp as knives. She walked to him. "You don't belong here," she whispered, loud enough for me to hear. He stood straight, calm, but hurting. "I belong wherever she is," Levi replied. Angel rolled her eyes. "That line only works in movies." Levi approached me. "Happy birthday," he said, offering the bag. Inside was a hand-carved wooden bracelet. He had shaped the word hope into it. A small message from his hands to my heart. I didn't appreciate it. Not that night. I wanted diamonds. Ariana hugged him, thanking him for coming. Angel just watched, waiting. Later, I overheard Angel speaking to Levi behind a curtain. "She misses luxury," Angel whispered. "You're torturing her with this life." Levi didn't argue. He didn't fight. He just stood there, absorbing every word. Angel stepped closer. "If you really love her, you should let her go." He left the party early. I didn't follow. I didn't check on him. I danced under shining lights while he walked home alone in the dark. That night, I didn't sleep in his arms. I slept with the lies others planted in me. Warm, poisonous lies. The next morning, I woke to find him sitting at the table, again laptop open, determination burning bright in his tired eyes. He still hadn't given up. Even while I was surrendering piece by piece, he smiled as I entered the room. "Good morning, Bella." His voice sounded like hope, trying to survive another day. Something inside me cracked. A tiny crack, barely noticeable. His hope still loved me. Mine was slipping. I didn't see the universe shifting around us. I didn't know that fate was about to turn loudly. Bridget was about to rise. Levi was about to shine. Our lives were about to change forever. Only I wasn't prepared for the truth that waited behind his success. A truth that would reveal who truly believed in him when I didn't. The truth had a name, Aaron. The universe doesn't always give warnings before changing your life. Sometimes it just knocks loudly. It was a sunny morning, strangely beautiful. Sunlight painted golden lines across our small apartment. Levi stood by the window, his phone pressed to his ear. "Yes, yes." "I can come," he said, voice barely steady. His hand trembled just a little. When he turned toward me, something glowed in his eyes. Not hope, something bigger, something fierce. "I have another meeting," he told me. I nodded. I didn't smile. Hope scared me at this point. I no longer wanted to believe in something that disappointed me so many times. Hours passed. Then the door opened slow, careful, nervous. I looked up, expecting defeat again. Instead, I saw a miracle. Levi stood frozen, breath shaking, eyes shining with a joy so pure it looked unreal. "Bella?" he whispered. They said yes. My heart stopped. "For real?" I whispered back. "They love Bridget. They want to invest big," they said. "This could change the tech market." He laughed, covering his face with his hands. Tears slipped through his fingers. My chest filled with fireworks of pride and relief and love. I hugged him, and the joy between us felt warm again, alive again. That night, we cooked pasta. Cheap pasta never tasted so luxurious. We danced in the kitchen, arms tangled, smiles returning home. For a moment, I believed the worst was over. I had no idea. This was only the beginning. Weeks after the investment deal, life shifted faster than my heart could process. Levi suddenly had meetings every day, calls with important people, flights to different cities, business suits replacing his old sweater. Bridget wasn't just growing, it was soaring. Journalists wanted interviews. Media companies reached out. Tech bloggers called him the future genius founder. Our apartment changed to fresh flowers, new furniture. The bills disappeared like they were never there. I should have been thrilled. I was at first, yet something strange happened inside me. Before, I felt pity. Now, I felt distance. I wasn't the supporter anymore. I wasn't the protector of his dreams. I wasn't the one who believed in him the most. I was just his wife. Watching from the sidelines, he didn't do that. My insecurity did. One evening, he returned home late, wearing an expensive watch, gifted by a partner. He kissed my forehead gently. "I'm trying to build the life you deserve," he said. His hands were steady, his eyes confident. He didn't need saving anymore. He didn't need me anymore. That terrified me. Ariana noticed my struggle. "He's changing," she whispered. "Don't let him forget who helped him climb." Angel used sharper words. Men like him forget their wives fast, she sneered. He gets rich, and suddenly, you become the old life he wants to erase. I began watching Levi with new suspicion. Every smile he gave others felt like a threat. Every missed dinner like a betrayal. Levi tried to hold on. Bella, talk to me, he asked repeatedly. What's wrong? I didn't know how to explain a fear I barely understood myself. Then came the day that changed everything. I woke up to dozens of messages from Ariana. Check the news. Bella, look now. You're going to scream. I grabbed my phone, opened the link. My heart turned into wings and stones at the same time. Forbes tech visionary Levi Hart, the new face of digital growth, his full name. His full success, printed boldly in black and white. He looked handsome and powerful in the photo. Sharp suit, confident posture. A smile that said, I made it. Tears blurred my eyes, but not before I read the line below the headline. His startup leaped forward with early funding support from billionaire businessman Mr. Aaron Room, funded Levi. Secretly, from the beginning. My breath refused to come. My mind rang like an alarm. He didn't trust me enough to tell me. He didn't need my support. He needed my father. I dropped the phone. Levi came running from the bathroom. Bella, what's wrong? I pointed at the screen with shaking fingers. You knew? You knew my father funded you. He froze. His face fell. Yes, he whispered. For a second, the world stopped spinning. You lied to me? I said, the words trembling. I didn't lie, Bella, Levi replied quietly. I just didn't tell you. Your father asked me not to. A sharp ache shot through me. My father trusted you, I choked out. He believed in you. When I didn't, Levi stepped closer. He didn't do it to hurt you, he said. He did it because he saw potential in Bridget. He saw that I could give you a good life. I felt small, thrown aside by the man I married and the man who raised me. My father had been lifting Levi up while I was pushing him down. The truth tasted like metal in my mouth. I had become the obstacle instead of the partner. Levi reached for me, his touch gentle, his eyes full of love and fear. Bella, he whispered, I wanted to tell you after the first success. I wanted to stand in front of you proud. Not as a man rescued by your father. My throat tightened painfully. You should have trusted me, I said, voice cracking like glass. I did, he whispered. That's why I stayed. That's why I fought. For us, I pulled my hand away slowly. Every emotion inside me, love, anger, guilt, confusion, all collided like crashing waves. I walked out of the apartment before I drowned. I ended up at my father's mansion. He was in his study again. I stood in the doorway, breathing hard. You funded him. My voice shook. Mr. Aaron looked up with soft eyes. Yes, why didn't you tell me? I demanded. He sighed, folding his hands gently. You didn't believe in him, he said quietly. If I told you, you would think he only married you for money. Love would turn into doubt. Doubt, the very poison already destroying me. I wanted you to choose him for his heart, not his wallet, he continued. And I wanted him to build success without being recognized as the billionaire soon. My chest tightened again. You believed in him more than I did, I whispered, tears finally falling. My father stepped closer. He wiped a tear from my cheek with his thumb like when I was little. I always believed in you, Bella. I knew you would eventually see how priceless loyalty is. Money fades. Love stays. A sob escaped me. I fell into his arms like a child running home after a storm. He held me not with wealth, but with wisdom. Days passed in silence between Levi and me. He respected my space. He waited. One night, he knocked gently on my father's door. I'm here for my wife, he said. His voice was steady, not demanding, not desperate, simply true. My heart moved quietly as I walked down the stairs toward him. He looked at me like I was the only person left in his universe. We can build a new life together, he whispered. No secrets, no fear, no letting go. I exhaled slowly. Something new bloomed inside me. Not the fairy tale love I once knew. A stronger love, a love that had been tested in fire and came out shining. I took his hand, not because I needed his success, not because he needed my approval, simply because I still loved him. This was not the finale. This was the rebirth. Our story was ready to grow again. This time with honesty. This time with gratitude. This time, together. The world outside our apartment seemed smaller after that day. Levi and I walked through familiar streets, but nothing felt ordinary anymore. Every glance, every step, every heartbeat reminded me that life had shifted. I wasn't the same girl who doubted him. I wasn't the same husband who needed saving. We had both been tested and survived. Our mornings became soft and gentle again. Sunlight streamed through the curtains, warm and forgiving. Levi brewed coffee, the aroma filling the small kitchen. I sat at the table watching him, feeling an unfamiliar pride that didn't sting. Not this time. "Bella," he said one morning, placing a mug in my hands, "do you know how far we've come?" I smiled, letting the steam brush my fingertips. "I'm beginning to feel it," I whispered. There was no grandeur, no applause, no flashing cameras, just him, me, and the quiet knowledge that we had grown stronger than any challenge. Ariana stopped by one afternoon. She hugged me tightly, her eyes sparkling with unspoken admiration. "I'm proud of you," she said softly. "I didn't understand before, but I see it now. Levi isn't just lucky, he's made of courage." Angel arrived soon after, predictably. Her eyes scanned the apartment, her lips curling in a smug smile. "You two are still together," she said, voice tinged with disbelief, "even after everything." I looked at her quietly, letting the silence answer. No words were needed, no excuses offered. Our calm presence was louder than any insult she could deliver. Levi approached, standing beside me. The light from the window caught his hair just right. "No, Angel," he said softly. "We're stronger together. Love isn't measured by money, or who funded whom. It's measured by trust, by patience, and by standing together when the world doubts you." She opened her mouth to respond, then closed it. She realized she could not touch the foundation we had rebuilt. My father remained a quiet presence in the background, not controlling, not intruding, just steady, a lighthouse in our sometimes stormy sea. One evening, I joined him in his study. He gestured to the chair across from him. I sat, feeling both nervous and comforted. "Bella," he began, "I saw how you struggled. I saw how pride and fear clouded your heart. I could have stepped in sooner, but I wanted you to choose him for the right reasons, not because I made the path easier." Tears gathered in my eyes. "I was blind, Father," I whispered. "I judged him for what he didn't have, instead of what he gave, and I almost lost the best thing in my life." He nodded, his eyes softening. "You've learned something important, Bella. Love sees beyond wealth. True worth is in the heart and in the courage to fight for what matters." I exhaled slowly, feeling a weight lift. I understood now. Levi's company flourished. Bridget became a symbol of hope for small businesses everywhere. But success never changed him. He remained humble, kind, and focused. I realized I had never truly seen how extraordinary he was, not until I witnessed the world acknowledging it. We started hosting small gatherings at our apartment. Nothing luxurious, just friends, laughter, warmth. We shared meals, stories, and quiet moments that felt priceless. Ariana laughed, Angel silently observed, and my father occasionally appeared, smiling without interference. One night, Levi and I stood on the small balcony. City lights flickered below us like tiny galaxies. He took my hand. "Bella, I want to keep building this life, step by step, together." I looked at him, really looked. I saw every sleepless night, every small sacrifice, every moment he held on to hope for us. "I'm ready," I whispered. "Together, always." The next morning, I woke to a soft note on the kitchen table. Levi's handwriting, messy but tender. "Love is stronger than fear. Together, we can face anything." I held it close, feeling the warmth spread through me. The note symbolized everything we had endured and everything we had become. Angel eventually stopped visiting. I didn't need to say goodbye. The truth had spoken louder than her words ever could. She faded from our lives like a shadow at sunrise. Ariana remained, always supportive, always genuine. We laughed about the past, about my fears and mistakes, but we never forgot the lesson. Love requires faith, patience, and humility. My father's role remained quiet but profound. He had funded Levi not to manipulate, but to test the hearts of those he loved. He had guided without control, believing in people even when they doubted themselves. I realized the quietest love is often the strongest. The love that supports without show, that believes without asking for proof, that trusts even when others doubt. Levi and I rebuilt our lives not with wealth or status, but with understanding. We shared dreams without envy, hope without pressure, and trust without conditions. The apartment we once felt was too small became our sanctuary. The tiny garden on the balcony bloomed with flowers we planted together. Every petal reminded us of patience, growth, and quiet perseverance. I stopped comparing myself to the world outside. I stopped measuring love in money. I measured it in moments like this: hands intertwined, hearts aligned, silence speaking louder than words. One afternoon, we visited my father together. Levi spoke about Bridget, about growth, about dreams. I stood quietly, listening, seeing the respect and love in my father's eyes. He had always believed in Levi, and now, so had I. Walking home, Levi held my hand firmly. "Bella," he said softly, "we've been tested. We've faced doubts, jealousy, and fear. But now, we know what truly matters." "Yes," I whispered, leaning into him. "Love matters. Courage matters. Faith matters. And together, we are unstoppable." We returned to our balcony that evening. The city lights twinkled. The air smelled of flowers. The world felt calm, safe, and ours. I realized that true power doesn't come from money. It doesn't come from influence or titles. True power comes from trust, loyalty, and love. I glanced at Levi. He smiled. I smiled back. No words were needed. We had learned the greatest lesson of all. Love isn't measured by wealth. It isn't measured by status. It's measured by the quiet strength to believe in someone even when the world doesn't. The city lights shimmered beneath us like scattered gold. I held Levi's hand and felt the pulse of life around us, gentle, steady, real. No chaos.